Hi friends, in this video we will understand the life cycle of a bean. Okay, so this is very important interview question you can expect. Not only for important, as a Spring Java developer you must know the life cycle of a bean to efficiently utilize the Spring concepts. Okay, let's see that. So the bean life cycle starts with instance creation. That means first Spring will create the object using a constructor. That can be a default constructor or parameterized constructor. Then it will inject the dependencies. That means if you use a default constructor and if you use setter injection or field injection, once it after creating the object, it will actually call the setter methods to inject the dependencies. So this is the second step it will do. So these two steps we already know, we saw right in the previous videos. So what the next step it will do? So this is something new to us, right? So the next thing is the BeanNameAware. What is this BeanNameAware? This BeanNameAware is nothing but an interface. It will have one abstract method called setBeanName. So if we implement, that means if this particular class implements BeanNameAware interface by overriding that method, then Spring will call that method. Okay, so once after injecting the dependencies, it will call the setBeanName method of BeanNameAware interface if the bean implements BeanNameAware interface. So this is interesting, right? Next, what it will do? Next, some other awares. That means in Spring framework we have some awares, other awares also, like BeanNameAware we have BeanFactoryAware, ApplicationContextAware. There are some other awares also. That means we have some other interfaces which are ending with aware. So it will, if you implement those interfaces also, it will call those methods of those interfaces. Okay, so next what it will do is ApplicationContextAware. This is very important. So far I worked in 4 Spring applications, 4 Spring projects. In each project, in every project, at some point of view, at some point of time, we use this. This is very important. ApplicationContextAware is very important. What is the use case of this? We will create a separate video how we can utilize this. But remember, the next step is ApplicationContextAware. If the bean implements ApplicationContextAware, it will have one abstract method, setApplicationContext. Okay, it will call that method. Okay, so this is the next thing you need to remember. After this, it will call BeanPostProcessor. That means BeanPostProcessor. This is again an interface, but this time our bean won't be implementing this BeanPostProcessor, but we need to create a custom class, some other class which implements this BeanPostProcessor. Then what will happen is every bean will go through all these phases, right? For every bean, instance will be created, dependencies are injected. If you implement BeanNameAware, ApplicationContextAware, all these things will be executed right by the Spring container. After that, what will happen is the bean itself will be provided to the BeanPostProcessor. BeanPostProcessor will have 2 methods. One method gets called before initialization of the bean, and the other method will get called after initialization of the bean. So this bean itself will be passed as the variable, that means argument, to that method. Okay, this we will see in practical now itself. Okay, so this is what after all these steps are completed, the bean itself will be passed as an argument to one of the methods of this implementation class of this interface. Okay, so after doing this, then what will happen is it will actually call a method inside the bean class which is annotated with post construct. So post construct is an annotation. It is not related to the Spring framework. It comes from Java only. Okay, Java X package. It comes from Java X package. So it is a post construct annotation. If you annotate a method with post construct, then Spring will call post construct this method. After all these steps, it will call that method. Okay, so normally post construct we use for initialization purpose. Okay, if you want to do some operations after the bean is created, then if you want to initialize something, then we will use post construct. Normally we know, right, in any life cycle of objects, normally we will have initialization method and destroy methods, right? These two definitely will be there, right? Similarly here also we have for initialization purpose we have post construct. We can use this post construct. This is Java provided annotation, not Spring provided one. Okay, remember. So next thing is initializing bean. So initializing bean, again, if this bean implements initializing bean, that means initializing bean is an interface. If our bean implements initializing bean, then one method will be there. So that method will get called by the Spring container. Okay, this is also purpose of the initialization only. So you can choose post construct or initializing bean. It is up to you. If you want to implement initializing bean, then you can happily implement initializing bean. If you want to add a method with post construct annotation, that is up to you. You can use this one also. Okay, out of these two purposes of this annotation and this interface is for initialization purpose only. Okay, next, init. So init is again one more init is a configuration. Okay, it is not a method or something. If you write a method and if the XML configuration or Java configuration, if you provide this method name in the init, okay, init is an attribute basically. Okay, in the XML it will be init method, in Java configuration it will be init method only. Okay, there if you give the init method name, this method name, then Spring will call this method after all these steps. So out of these three you can choose any one. If you choose these three, then it will go in this particular order only. Okay, post construct it will call first, then initializing bean, then init method. So the purpose of these three are for initialization purpose only, remember. Okay, once this is done, that means once the initialization is done, what will happen is BeanPostProcessor, we will have other method, right? This BeanPostProcessor have two methods. One method gets called before initialization, other method will get called after initialization. So after initialization of the bean, again the bean itself is passed as an argument to that method. Again after post initialization, if you want to perform some operation on the bean, then this approach you can choose. You can implement this BeanPostProcessor, and that method, if you write any logic to perform in the bean, it will do that. Okay, so this one we will see practically. So after all these steps are done, then your bean is ready. Did you ever think of this? Spring is doing these many things behind the scenes. To create an object, these many steps it is going through. Don't worry, don't feel afraid of seeing all these steps. It is very simple, easily you can remember. It's not that tough to remember this. If you remember this flow, easily you will feel like very confident in interviews. If you tell all these steps to your interviewer, definitely your interviewer will be impressed. Recently I was asked this question, so I was able to answer. Okay, so okay, this is fine. So practically we will see. Are you ready? Yes. Let's get into IDE. Yeah. So I have set up a small application for you. It's a standalone one. Okay. So using class math XML application context, I am reading this XML file. Okay. We can also do with Java configuration. That one also we will do. Okay, let's get into the XML file. So here we have the same user service, user repository, right? So I'm doing auto varying by type. So this one we already discussed in the previous video, right? Dependency injection, right? So here, to understand Spring Bean lifecycle, we will take one, that is user service. Okay, let's go to the user service class. So it has the dependency, that is user repository. So I have the default constructor and I have a setter method. So here we will be demonstrating using the setter injection. Okay, so here I have added one sysout instance created, and here I have added another sysout, that is dependency injected, just to see whether it is getting called or not. Okay, next is these two. Okay, so let's run this. Yes, so what is happening? Initially instance created, dependency injected. That means first user service, it has created this using this constructor. Then what happened? It actually called the set user repository. That means it injected the dependency. What is the dependency here? User repository, right? So it injected after creating using default constructor, it injected. So if you have used parameterized constructor, then it will use parameterized constructor to inject the dependency. Okay, if you have setter methods, then it will call setter methods, otherwise it won't call. Okay, so these are the two steps as we discussed, right? So what? Okay, instance created, dependencies injected. What is the next one? BeanNameAware. So BeanNameAware is nothing but what? Interface. Let's go to that. Okay, user service, we are actually analyzing user service, right? Let's do one thing. Here we implement BeanNameAware, right? Yes, so here it is asking to add the unimplemented methods. Okay, so let's go to that. So what is the method we have? Set bean name. So bean name it will pass. So what Spring will do is bean name of this user service. What is the bean name of this user service? If you go to this XML, this is user service only, starting with small u, right? Actually class name starting with capital U, right? But the bean name is starting with small u. So it will pass the user service, the bean name, as an argument to this particular method here, so that we can print and see. Okay, user service bean name is, what is the bean name? We will see. Okay, that is name, right? So this is the bean name. So let's test it. Okay, come on. Yes, see, instance created, dependency injected. What is the third step? BeanNameAware, right? So if you implement the BeanNameAware interface, then it will call the set bean name also. So it is calling, right? This is the proof. So user service bean name is user service. So what is the bean name here? Whatever we have kept here, that is the bean name. Let's test one thing. Okay, let's make it as 1. Let's test it. Bean name, whether the bean name is this one or not, we will test it now. User service 1. Okay, let's do now. See, it is changed, user service 1. So in the XML configuration, whatever we are giving here ID, so Spring is creating the bean name as the ID value only. Whatever we are giving here, it is creating the object with this name only, right? Bean name is user service 1. Interesting, right? Right. So this is the third step, right? BeanNameAware. So other awares we'll ignore now. So we'll go to ApplicationContextAware next. Okay, if you implement ApplicationContextAware, ApplicationContextAware, so again it is asking to add the unimplemented methods. So I'm adding that. If you come here, we have, what is the method we have inside ApplicationContextAware? we have set application context, right? So what we can do here is we can print the application context. Okay, so what is application context? We are creating XML, right? This one only, right? Which is that, yeah, this class path XML application context instance. This instance we will get, actually this instance we will get, we will see that. Okay, application context is application context. So this application context instance object we will get over here. Okay, we will print that and we will see. Okay, come on. Yes, see what is up instance? This is the instance, right? We have created class path XML application context. So fully qualified class name we are printing. So this is the default behavior, right? Whenever we try to print the object, we will get the class name @ # code, right? Hexadecimal format of the hash code of the object, right? So this is how Java prints any object, right? Yes. So class path XML application context object we are getting. How we are getting? Using the application context aware. So this behavior will be useful, I will tell you. Okay, so this is the next one, application context. So what are the steps it involved now? Instance created, dependency injected, then bean name, that means BeanNameAware, then application context aware, right? Interesting, right? Next, after application context aware, this total bean will be passed as the argument to BeanPostProcessor, one of the methods of BeanPostProcessor, right? So that how can we do? So we need to create a class for that. Okay, we'll name it as customBeanPostProcessor. Okay, so here it has to implement BeanPostProcessor. Let's import it, right? Yes. So what it will have? It is basically an interface, right? So it has default methods: post process before initialization, post process after initialization, right? Since these are default methods, these are already available to our custom bean post processor, right? But if you want to do something customization, then you can override this, right? So what you want to do? I want to print it and show you. Okay, so what we will do is we will take this, and it has to return the bean also. We'll take this public. Okay, so what we have to do? We have to return, anyway we will return the bean, no problem. And what you can do, you can just print out and see the bean itself. Did you observe the bean itself? It is passing after all these steps, after instance creation, dependency injection, after setting the bean name, after setting the application context, after doing all these things, the bean itself, it will pass to this method. This is before initialization, right? So I told you, right, this BeanPostProcessor has two methods. One is called before initialization, other one is called after initialization, right? Yes. So let's print something here. Okay, before initialization, that too I want to print only my bean, because there will be several other beans also. For all the other beans also this will get called. So what I want to do is I want to print only for my bean. Okay, if bean name dot equals, what is our bean name? User service, right? User service, starting with small letter. If this is so, then I want to print this before initialization. This is before initialization, right? So I want to print, let's print the bean name. Okay, Okay, this is coming from the post process before initialization. Let's do after initialization also. Okay, I'm not doing initialization, but I will add this one also. After initialization also we have, right? Yes. So here also the same methods will be there. You can see same, the same arguments will be there, right? So we are good. So this is after initialization, right? Bean name only I'm doing. Okay, I'm printing bean name. So we are good, right? Okay. So do you think it will get called now? How Spring knows to create the object for this? It doesn't know, right? Okay. What? Just print and just call. Just we'll execute and see whether it will work or not. Okay. Are we getting the output here? Are we getting the sys out here? No, right? That means we have to tell to Spring that create an object for this one also. So we have two ways. Either we can use component or we can use configuration here, right? Here bean we can create like this. Okay, ID we can create any BeanPostProcessor. Okay, or we can say BeanPostProcessor. Okay, what we can do here, class we can give. What is the class? Where we have created in springdemo.config only we created, right? Yes. And what is the class name? customBeanPostProcessor. Done, right? Yes. Now it is creating the object. So now let's test it. So why it is not printing? There might be some mistake, right? Let's test it. Let's see it. So actually customBeanPostProcessor equals, if it is equals user service, then only we are printing, right? If you see here, it is user service 1. The bean name is user service 1, not user service, right? So let's change it to user service here. Okay, let's run it now. Yes. So if you see this, before initialization user service, after initialization user service. Perfect, right? So these two methods are getting called. Interesting, right? If it is user service, then only I'm printing. Okay. Yes. So what is the advantage of this? If you want to modify the bean, you can modify also here. Yes, you can modify it. Okay. Yeah. So this is done, right? So what is the next thing? These three: post construct, initializing bean, init, right? So post construct, from where post construct will come. So this is a Java annotation, not Spring annotation. So for initialization purpose we can use this. So how can we get this? Okay, let's do one thing. For example, if let's I will create one method here, public void initialize. Okay, I have this method initialize. So I want to print something here, initialization through post construct. Okay. So I want to add, I told you, right, we have a constructor called post construct. Sorry, we have a annotation called post construct. So we don't have default proposals, no default proposals. That means this we don't have the corresponding jar file in the class path for this post construct. So how can you get it? How can you get it? We need to have a dependency. Okay. If you go to the pom.xml, I don't have the dependency, right? But I can add it. So for that we need to go to the Google, right? Okay. So come to the browser and just what you will do is type. What is we have to type? Post construct, right? Post construct Java annotation. I want Maven dependency, right? Maven dependency, something like this. We have to search. That's it. I got one link. then I am clicking on the latest version, and you can take this, right? Let's add here, format it. Okay, done. So after doing this, just to do control space, yes, you got the post construct annotation. Yes, perfect, right? Post construct. And okay, this will be getting called anyway, right? We can test and see, right? Is it working? No, right? Initialization through post construct, is it printed? No, right? Yes. For beginners, if you directly start this, definitely you will be surprised why it is not working, why it is not working. You have to scratch your head, why it is not working. That means this annotation Spring is unable to detect. Why? This is something strange, right? Yes, this is very important concept. When we use XML configuration, we have to tell to Spring that please use annotations also, please scan the annotations also. When we use @ component, we enabled this context component scan base package something, then it was able to scan those. What are those? @ component it was able to scan. But to scan the Java annotations, definitely we have to tell to Spring container, hey, I'm using some other annotations which are not provided by you, please scan them also. So what is that way? So we have a special tag for that, something like annotation config, something like context. So something like this. So what is that is annotation config. So what it will do is, this is a way, this is very important for the interview also. If you definitely in modern approaches we are not using these XML configurations, but still there are so many projects already using XML configuration, so interviewer may test your knowledge on this. So if you want to enable such kind of annotations, we need to use context : annotation -config. So with this tag it should work. Okay, let's test it. Yes, it's working, right? Initialization through post construct. So before that it was not working, right? If I remove this, save it, run it, that sysout is not coming, right? There is no initialization through post construct, right? If I add it, it will work, right? It is working, right? Initialization through post construct. Yes, congratulations, this one also you understood very clearly now why it is needed, because to enable some annotations like @ post construct, we need annotation config. Okay, if you use XML configuration only. If you use Java configuration, that is not required. Directly this will work. Okay, that also we will see. So post construct is one. So what is the other way to initialize the bean? Initializing bean, right? So this is an interface basically, right? Okay, that also we will do. So here also initializing bean we have here. Okay, we have to add the unimplemented methods. So what is the method name here? After properties set, right? That means what? Here properties means basically the dependencies only. So after dependencies injected, if you want to initialize the bean, then we have to use this. So you can use this one also, no problem, but it is up to you which one you want to choose. Okay, but for the post construct, definitely you need a dependency. That's what you need to remember. So if you don't want to add this dependency, go ahead and use the after property set. Again, if you don't want to implement this interface like this, then you can use the other approach, that init method. Okay, we will see that. So anyway, come here, just initialization through initializing bean. Okay, so no issues, it will work, it has to work, right? Yes. See, initialization through post construct annotation, initialization through initializing bean, right? So the what is the other one? We have one more, that is init method, public void init. Okay, so initialization through init method. Okay, so this init method we have to configure. Okay, this name you have to copy, the method name you have to copy, and in the XML you need to mention here this bean only, right? We are working on it. So this, for this, in this tag you can tell init method. What is the init method? Init only. You can use any method here. Okay, I'm using init method. You can use any method here. Okay, any method name here. Okay, so let's test it. Yes, initialization through init method also is getting called. So these three initialization methods are getting called in this particular order only, right? Whatever the order we discussed, post construct first, initializing bean second, third one is init method. So these three, purpose of these three methods is for initialization only. You can choose any of these three, it is up to you. Okay, so after initialization, again this bean itself is passed as an argument to the custom bean processor, custom bean post processor, that method. That's where we are printing this, right? Perfect. After all this, what our diagram says, after all this, bean is ready. Perfect, our bean is ready now. So simple, this is about the bean lifecycle. And after the bean is created, and we will be anyway using the beans in the project in the Spring framework, then after that, just before destroying the bean, if you want to do some cleanup code, that means if you want to do some cleanup activity, releasing the resources like that, so we have other three methods also, lifecycle methods. So what are those? Is, let's do here only. So here we are initializing to post construct. So if you want to do some cleanup activity before destroying this object, corresponding to this post construct, we have one annotation. Okay, that annotation is pre-destroy. So this is for destroy. Okay, cleanup, some kind of cleanup you can say, destroy. Okay, anything is fine. So just before destroying this object, this method will be called. Okay, cleanup through pre-destroy. Okay, just to know whether this method is getting called or not, just we add this. Similarly, we will add what? For init also we will have destroy method, the same way. Here annotation is not required. This is a destroy method. What we will call this one as destroy2, let's say. Okay, cleanup through destroy method. Okay, this is the destroy method, and this one we need to configure. Okay, destroy2, where we have to configure in the XML here. Okay, init method is there, destroy method is also there. Here we can give. Okay, we can move it to the next line. Okay, destroy method. Similarly, what we have, destroy2. Similarly, for this after property set, we have one more interface for destroying. Similarly, like initializing bean, we have destroyable. No, what is that? Dispose or destroy, not destroy, it is disposable. It is disposable bean. So we can add the unimplemented method, but it's not giving. Is it the default method or what? Let's open this. Okay, ideally it has to give, right? This is a destroy method only. Oh, all are destroy methods only. Take this. Why it is not giving error? Because we are already have the same method name here, right? So what we will do is here we will make it as destroy1, destroy2. Okay, public. So here it is through disposable bean, right? Cleanup through disposable bean. So are we closing the context? So these methods should be called when we close the context, but we are not closing it, right? When we close the context, then only all the objects will be destroyed. Okay, let's run it and see. Those are not printing, right? Whatever we have added, right? But if we close the application context, those will get called. Okay, can you guess the order? Same how we have the order for initialization, we will have the order for disposable also. That means destroying also. Yes, we got right. Cleanup through pre-destroy. So first it started with post construct, right? Initialization. So destroy also the same order. Initializing bean, disposable bean, init method, cleanup through destroy method. So the same, what is the order it followed to initialize, the same order it followed for destroying. Okay, so this is how it works. This is the Spring Bean Lifecycle. Okay, so this is, I practically explained to you how the Spring Bean Lifecycle works, but theoretically, if interviewer asks you, just theoretically say to him, first instance created, dependencies injected, then what will happen? Said that is initialize BeanNameAware, ApplicationContextAware, then BeanPostProcessor, then post construct, initializing bean, init method, then again BeanPostProcessor, then bean is ready. When we close the context, again pre-destroy, disposable bean, and destroy method. So this is how it works. Okay, so are you interested to know the same thing with configuration class? Because we did with XML, right? You try with configuration, it is very easy. Okay, you try it, and if you face any issues, provide in the comment section. I will create a short video for that with the Java configuration also. Okay, it's very easy, you try it out. Okay, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, please subscribe, and share the video with your friends.